Welcome to Salt and Light Songs, a series where we sit down with musicians to reflect on stories of people who lived out their faith. This is just one part of a four-part conversation with Derek Miner, rapper, singer-songwriter, record producer, and entrepreneur. If you're just joining us, check out our Substack for the full story. And if you're back, welcome. Let's jump in.
I'd love to hear, Derek, when you were given Amazing Grace, was there any like initial impetus that came to your mind for how you would shape it? Any like inspiration from one of the many amazing versions of that song that came to mind, or where did you start when you first, were tasked that?
For me, I was like, how am I gonna do this? Because that song has had so many different iterations, and it's really, it's transcendent.
Mm.
I didn't know any of the story. Like, Mark actually helped me understand the story of this years ago. I didn't know who Wilberforce or Newton were. Like, I just grew up in a little small country church, and we would sing that every morning. And I thought it might have been a black person that wrote it. Like, the more I researched that song, the more I realized it's transcendent because the heart of it is transcendent, which is liberation. Like liberation in God. To know that God's grace is so amazing, it saves even the wretches like me. That's a transcendent thought. It's a transcendent thought. It doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter what time. You could sing that song 1,000 years from now, it'll still be relevant. So for me, it's the weight of making sure that I show honor to that song and that thought. So yeah, it's been something I've been mulling over, and I'm excited to put my spin on it though. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. We look forward to hearing it. Are you gonna be incorporating like any kind of hook, or like are you gonna, like, I'm curious, or like what have you thought for it so far?
So far, I have melody that has been in my head and heart that I feel feels like a hook. But my goal would be, for anyone that's been a fan of me, I love to bend genres. I love to mix and match. So the goal would be to take the genres that I love and fuse them together to create something new. So that's the goal with the record. I'm excited though.
That's cool.
Nice. That's awesome. How do you feel just in general? Obviously, like when you're creating, like it's a medium for a message, and like you mentioned that first story of someone coming to faith in your at your show. How do you feel in like maybe some of the more abstract elements of your craft, like if you're creating a beat or if you're just thinking about rhymes functionally versus like the overall, maybe moral or message? How do you Where do you feel like your faith informs those things? Do you think about like those things being a part of like your faith and your craft?
Mm.
Yeah, in the past, I would labor over every word in each song to try to be like, okay, let me make sure that I'm not wrong here or whatever. Now, I don't even write a lot of my lyrics because I believe that the scripture says out of the mouth the heart speaks.
Mm,
And I believe that whenever I've made lyrics that are toxic, it's because something's happening here that's toxic.
mm,
All right. So for me, then the goal is to remove as much toxicity from my heart so that every time I speak, it's salt and light.
mm.
That's the goal. And I don't always hit it.
Yeah. Have you listened back to songs and kind of realized, oh, I can tell the toxicity of my heart when I first,
Yeah, for sure. There's songs I listen to, I was like, I was in a dark place.
mm,
I was in a dark place, but I'm not ashamed of those songs
hmm
because where I'm at now, I'm not there. So it gives me an opportunity for someone to ask, well, wait a minute. I thought you believed this. I thought
mm,
you were there. And I'm like, no, I'm not there anymore. Here's why. God has changed me. God has liberated me. God has illuminated something great. The most beautiful thing about humanity is our potential for growth.
Hmm.
And I think we forget that when we deal with people. We look at people and we say, well, they made a mistake last year and we're canceling them. They're no longer invited to anything we're doing. Well, and I think there's times where we need to say, hey, you need to put you on ice for a little bit. But people always have the potential to change and grow. And if we don't believe that, then what is the point of even sharing the gospel? Because if I see someone with a hard heart and I don't believe that they can change and grow, then what's the point? No, I believe everyone can change and grow. And that's when I look at my old music, I'm like, yeah, I'm not there anymore, but it's a good reminder. It's like when Jacob wrestled the angel and he built an altar. I can remember God's faithfulness here because I'm not there anymore. But anytime I come back around this place, I know I wasn't here always, right? God did a miracle in my life between that song and this song.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's really liberating too. I think for anyone who's maybe like a longtime church kid, or feels like this pressure to like make sure you're saying the right things, like make sure you're and there's truth behind like measuring your words and thinking about things, but like but just that pressure. Like I remember in the past I've like tried to write a song for the church. I'm like, man, I'm so focused on what not to say. What is like, I don't want to say something heretical, something untrue, but there's something good about even just like, even if you look back to a song, you're like, man, my headspace wasn't quite right. I've refined that, but even that is a part of the grace journey of like refining God's, like sanctification and giving us the things to say and actually refining our heart. That's really cool.
It's like, well, hey, guess what? Josh made a mistake in a song. He's a human being. Wow, we didn't know that. We didn't know Josh was a human being. We thought he was God. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you made a mistake. You didn't. Like, it's like we have to leave space for people to grow and develop, and especially with music, because we're grabbing all of these 19, 20-year-old guys and girls and expecting them to have words with the weight of seasoned saints that have been through so much life. That's a crazy expectation. We're setting everyone up for failure. I'm setting this guy up for failure because he's 19. He don't know anything. He just knows what he knows, So why am I putting so much weight on him?
Yeah.
We have to start putting the weight back where it belongs. First on God, number one, but then on self-responsibility, and then on the leaders of the church. You shouldn't be listening to a rapper to get your theology. You should be getting your theology from your pastor. That's where you should be getting it from. And if the rapper makes a cool little bop that you could play in the song in the car while you're driving, great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your relationship with the church has been? What have been ways that the church has been a huge support in you, specifically maybe in your craft? And are there any ways that you would hope to see maybe change in how the church interacts with artists? And
yeah, it's good. R&B music is trash today because nobody's in church, so they don't know how to sing without auto-tune. So it's it's not. I won't say it's trash, but that's what Jermaine Dupri said. He was like, "What's going on with R&B music?" And it's no one can sing because they're not in church. I learned how to hone my craft in church. And we don't look at that as discipleship, but as someone with a gift, that was discipleship. The ability to say, you know what, you can get on here. Now you can't just say whatever you want, but you can sing these songs that we vetted. You can have these experiences that we vetted to be able to grow your craft because we believe that God's going to use that in the world for good. That is something that the church, if it's not doing, it should always be that we have to put this perfect little concert on every Sunday for people. Should be like, how do we use this time to encourage people? How can we give kids an opportunity to lead? And because if they've never led before, in a church, then they won't know how to lead out in the world, right? The church taught me about leadership. It taught me about responsibility. Hey, Derek, you're in the choir. So you can't be acting a certain way at school, but then want to sing in this choir. That's what my mama and my granny them would say, right? You can't do that. You're a leader. So either you're going to be a leader and be in the choir, or you're not going to be a leader, and then that's fine. And whenever you want to step into leadership, you can come back, right? There's nothing wrong. That's the thing I love about the church. The thing I struggle with the church is I see the politics influencing the church as opposed to the church influencing politics. I see business influencing the church as opposed to the church influencing business. So you can see some churches do some really wild things under the guise of, well, it's just business. It's just politics. Politics don't go above this. We put the church above the politics, right? Another thing that I struggle with is for people that are in leadership at church, there's no breaks. We don't have Sabbaths for leaders often. There's not a lot of leaders that get to say, like, think about a pastor who has to prepare to preach every Sunday for 10 years straight. That brother needs a break. That sister needs a break. And I think that because there's no space to give leaders breaks, they begin to find relief in ways that are not godly in the dark, because they have to put on a face in the light. So I believe if more leaders were able to be themselves in the light, we would have less crash outs. And we have to change to where the church isn't based on one person to save the world, but it's the church is acting as a community so that these leaders can get breaks and can have soul care as well, and not just always pour out. So,
Derek, as you start to go into creation mode and production mode with Amazing Grace, I'll just point to this little plate behind me. I know you've seen it. You're here in the office, but that's the image of a slave, and around the slave are the words, "Am I not a man and a brother?" And this was, a piece of art created by the Clapham community, in a sense, to raise awareness in the culture, and ask a question, that you can't avoid it. If you're at a social party and someone's got this big, pendant, you got to deal with that pendant, that question. And that's the power of art, being a catalyst to kind of prod the conscience. And so I just want to kind of encourage you to, reflect on this long tradition. And we look forward to seeing what the Holy Spirit does through you for a new version of Amazing Grace that we look forward to sharing with the church and the world.
Hey, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
All
We're
right, God bless you,
excited.
brother. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Derek.
See you,
All right, for sure.
See you in a couple weeks.
All right. We'll see you in a
All right.
couple weeks. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
God bless.